Alright, so today we're going to talk about metrics, one of the very top level metrics, easily a 50% reduction in annotation time. 50% is pretty good. And when you really get good at MBD, model-based definition, it gets a lot faster than that. The basic dimensions, in a 2D drawing environment, those take a long time. You can start counting those hours pretty quickly. Figure somebody spends about 1,500 to 1,600 hours per man year. A third of that time gets spent on creating, revising, reviewing. So that's like 500 hours. Well, what if we can get a 30% savings on that? Not the 50% that I know you can do. And you can get 50% if you just eliminate the darn drawings. We'll stay with that 30% for now. $19,200 savings. Right now we're only doing 1 man year. And you might say, well, that's not a lot. If that's not so much, then give them a raise of $19,000. If you had 10 projects, it's $192,000 per year. Now it's a lot. Let's go on to the next one. Random discussions. People have these random conversations because they don't understand the drawing, they're hard to read. Talking to the suppliers because the suppliers don't understand or nobody understands. 8 man hours per drawing, and internally and externally crank up 480 man hours in a hurry right there. Times 10 projects adds another $500,000 a year that you're spending right now, whether you like it or not. That we can probably reduce by 50%, whether you're doing the hybrid stuff or not. $288,000 savings per year. And then you have engineering change notices. That's a great big one. 10 on average, 10 ECNs per drawing, and you have a project that says, say, 30 parts, 300 ECNs per project. 10 projects, 3,000 ECNs. Around $2,500 in administrative costs for an ECN, $7.5 million a year in administrative costs alone. So let's try to reduce that by 50%, make that $3.7 million. How in the world that get magically reduced by model-based definition? When you're putting the annotation right on the model, any problems with the model just come up and you can see them. It's the details that you find in model-based definition that often cause changes like all those ECNs. Then you got tooling costs, and you're going to have about 3 changes per component easily. I mean, I know how it works. 7 hours per person. You got 3 changes per component, 21 hours, 630 designer hours. For every designer hour, you got an engineer working side by side with him or her, all of which are only being multiplied by $120 an hour rate. That's costing $1.5 million a year. Cut that by 50%, you got a savings of $750,000 a year. Average tooling costs, in any one of those changes, in just one, you can have a $4,500 tool cost. For 30 components, 10 projects, $1.35 million a year. If we reduce that, that's another $675,000 a year in savings. So let's subtotal all that up, right? I know that's a lot of numbers thrown at you pretty quick. You can come up to $4.9 million in a quick hurry, and that's just a 30 to 50% saving. On a previous video, we talked about saving $2.25 million if you were to design with GD&T, and I'll do that with model-based definition. You add those numbers together, now you come up with $7.1 million savings per year. And yes, really. That's a lot of money to a lot of companies, a drop in the bucket for some others. The scenario is all relative. Either climb on board or not, but there's a lot of money to be saved there. We haven't even talked about a lot of other metrics that we're going to be talking about. See you then.